and welcome to Sunstar Knits. I'm Eleanor, and this is my very first podcast episode. Quick disclaimer, I have my notes right down here, so if I'm looking that direction, that's what I'm looking at. And if you hear any noise, my dog is in my room, so that's probably just him moving around. So because this is my very first podcast episode, I'm going to do a quick introduction of myself, and then we'll get right into it. As I said, I'm Eleanor. I am a 19-year-old college student currently based in Sierra Nevada, the Sierra Nevada mountains of northern Nevada in the United States. I learned how to knit in the 5th grade, but didn't really pick it up or learn to love it until about around the end of COVID, so 2021, 2022, and now I'm completely in love with it. So if you have any other questions, just leave a comment down below and I will try and answer them. So the way this is going to go, we're going to start out with, I have 2 finished objects for you today, and then I have 3 or 4 whips or works in progress to show you, and so maybe some future plans at the end to finish out the video. So to start with, I recently just came back from my very first trip overseas. My family and I went to Italy for my mom's birthday. And I decided that while I was there, I wanted to get yarn and to knit something as like a little souvenir and reminder of my time in Italy. So our very first stop, we flew into Rome. I got yarn like the second day there because I didn't bring anything with me. I didn't bring any projects, and I got yarn and I immediately started on my very first Ranunculus. So this, I'm a little late to the train with the Ranunculus, but it is a pattern by Midori. I don't quite remember the full name. I will put a picture up here. And it is I knit it with 3/4 length sleeves, so they hit me about here, which is quite nice, perfect transitional fall. I also knit it with Italian made yarn, obviously. I knit it held together 100% cotton with mohair. It was my first time ever working with mohair, and I wouldn't say loved it. It was a little tricky to figure out, and it was very slippy with some yarns working on metal needles, but I just loved how it worked up. So I knit the pattern, or I knit the size 1 on the recommended 6mm needles. I'm definitely planning on making this again. I will probably size up just because I want a little bit extra positive ease to make it a bit baggier. And I'll probably end up knitting the short sleeve version in a true summer yarn so that I have like a transitional piece. And again, I knit it to pattern. I did omit there's a bit of shaping right here to kind of like angle this down, which I didn't want to do. I was just kind of ready to bind off. It was my first time doing an I-cord bind off, so I'll go back here so you can kind of see better. An I-cord bind off. It was my very first time ever doing an I-cord bind off. And I absolutely loved it. I will definitely be making lots and lots of these. Maybe not lots and lots, but at least a few more to scratch that itch, and it will probably wait until spring to make another one, just because I do have a lot of fall and winter plans that I will talk about later. So my second finished object is the Shona top by Irene Lynn. And this, we also ended up going to Switzerland for the last week of our trip because my uncle lives there. And so I got this yarn from a shop in Switzerland. And I used it to make, again, the Shona top by Irene Lynn. And this is, I had a bit of a hard time. The pattern doesn't specifically say the weight of yarn you're supposed to use. She gives the yarn that she used. So I just picked, and I ended up picking based off of color and the feel. And this is super soft because this is Earth Yarns, URTH. I will link it below. It's a fingering weight, harvest fingering weight is what it's called. It's 100% superwash extra fine merino, and it is so soft. And I did gauge swatch because I didn't know if the yarn was hand dyed, so I wanted to use the 2 different balls I got to make sure they looked similar enough to decide if I had to switch balls multiple times, because there was, as you can see, there's some slight variegation. I can't see if you can tell, but there is. And I ended up deciding I didn't need to switch balls every round, but I did need to size up from the suggested 4mm needles in the pattern to 4.5. So, as I don't know if you can see, but this is very flowy, very kind of see-through yarn, or it's made of very see-through fabric. It's actually very lovely, even though it is 100% merino wool. It is very flowy. I have yet to wear it because it just came off the blocking boards. As you can see, there's still some ends I've got to felt on there. So yes, but I absolutely cannot wait. I think I will actually be felting these in today or tomorrow so I can wear it, because it's just absolutely beautiful. So it's knit top down, and at first you knit each of these kind of shoulder shapings on each of the back sides, and then you cast on here and knit the back panel until you reach, not even quite the underarm, until you reach the length that they specified, and then you switch and you pick up stitches along the seam here, and you do some short row shaping, and then you go here increasing, and then you cast on and knit down. And I think I joined in, it was a very quick pattern. Might have been because I was stuck on a plane with nothing else to do and no chance of getting sleep. But yes, and then once you just knit the body and stockinette, and then you get to this beautiful, beautiful lace pattern. It is really, really easy. I had never done lace before, so this was a first for me. And it was just like really simple pattern to get. It was really easy to fix and know how to fix if you ended up accidentally making a mistake in the previous row and not realizing it, without having to rip back. And after you were done with the lace pattern, you moved on to this bubble border here, which is on the bottom, the sleeves, and the neckline, and that is a crocheted border. But it is super easy. I am a crocheter as well, but she has really good explanations. She has a video assistance. I don't know if there's video assistance for the whole pattern, but at least for that part, just because I am a visual learner, so I watched it. And I finished the whole body, did the bubble border, and then decided I was going to do the neck next, because I didn't know if I wanted to do the short sleeve version she has here or the tank top version. So there are 2 versions. I will also definitely be doing the tank top version next. But I decided I had enough yarn and I wanted to do the short sleeve version. So the short sleeve version is pretty much all of this is short row shaping, and then you do like 3 rounds with all of the stitches, and then you immediately start working into the lace pattern here and getting into it. Sorry, adjusting the light so you can see a bit better. And getting into the lace pattern there. So that is the Shona top by Irene Lynn. And those are my 2 finished objects right there. Now we will get into my works in progress. So, sorry, my laptop locked on me. So the first one I have in my lap right here. It fell on the floor. But this is the Arctic Light Sweater by Veronica Lindberg or Kutavakika. So this is actually a gift knit. It's not for me. I will be knitting myself one of these because I absolutely love, obviously I haven't worked a lot of it. I've just worked the necks ribbing and then some of the beginning on the cables and yoke pattern. It is an all over cabled sweater. It's my first time working an all over cabled sweater. I have worked cables before on a previous vest pattern, but they were only like 2 and 2 on along the back and the body or the front. And so this is actually it's a gift knit for my sister. I am currently knitting it on size 4.5 millimeter needles as well. I believe the recommended size is 4. Yes, I believe it is 4. And this is another one. She has accessible videos. So that's actually how I found it, is I saw her video on it and decided, well, my sister also found the pattern and I bought it as well, but I originally found the video for it and her going over how to do the literally everything. But what was most helpful is she goes into detail on how to do all of the cables, which is really, really nice. So the yarn I am using for this is Lion Brand's Pound of Love 100% acrylic. And not my choice, but the reason I'm doing it in 100% acrylic is because my sister is allergic to wool. And so that's another reason I haven't gotten a lot farther, is because acrylic with a metal hook or metal needles is squeaky and it's not the most fun thing to knit with. But once I started the cables and got into that pattern and the chart and figured everything out, it became a very fun thing. So I cannot wait to get this started or continued and get way farther into it. But I have a bit more of a pressing whip, which I will talk about now. So this is another gift knit. This is the Autumn Alpine sweater by Caitlin Hunter. It is a gift knit for my grandmother. It is a colorwork sweater, and it is so nice. So this one has a bit of a hard deadline. I have trying to get you some good lighting so you can see that color work, but I'll bring it closer so you can also see it. That it's just a beautiful, beautiful color work piece. This is my first color work piece at all, really. I have a couple of smaller ones, but it's anything of this scale. So I do have some puckering that I'm hoping will come out with blocking, just from holding my floats too tight and not giving it, making them long enough to stretch with the piece, but this sweater needs to be done by Sunday the 2nd? 3rd? Sunday the 1st, because we are going down to see my grandma because her birthday was this month when we were gone in Italy. Thankfully, I just have the sleeve to do. I finished the body and the ribbing yesterday. This one I am not exactly knitting to pattern just because of my grandma. I'm knitting size 2. So I'm knitting to size 2, but then when my grandma tried it on, just because of the way her proportions are, she did try it on and said it was a bit tight. So I did increase by, I believe, I increased by 10 plus whatever to make the ribbing pattern work out. Because the ribbing pattern is a 4-stitch repeat, as it's a bit different. So you've got your normal ribbing, and then you've got these columns of moss stitch here where you work one row of your normal 1x1 ribbing and then one row of a 1x3 ribbing with this color work pearl accent worked in here, which makes a really great texture. And then I bound off using, I'm going to bind off on everything using Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off, which I had never used before this, so I'm learning a lot of new techniques, which I'm very happy about. But yes, I have a bit, I have 90 rows or rounds of this sleeve to knit to before I can do the decrease row and then the 26 rows of the cuff. But I'm very hopeful that I'm going to get that done because I have work this afternoon, which actually allows me a lot of knitting time. So I am very hopeful that this sleeve will be at least have only like the cuff left, hopefully by tonight. I'm hoping to knit the 90 some odd rows I need today at work. So I will definitely update, but you probably won't get a video before I have to give this to her, but I will definitely take a picture with her wearing it to show you guys in next video. Hi, this is future Ella. Just wanted to give you a quick update on the Autumn Alpine sweater from my grandma. I did end up finishing it. I finished it today, Saturday, the 31st of August. I had to redo the sleeve, so tip for anyone, don't wait 2 months to finish a sweater because your gauge will change. So I knit the entire sleeve and then realized there was no fixing the gauge with blocking, so I ripped it all back, sized down on my needles. My gauge was still slightly too big with those needles, but I ended up just knitting the sleeve shorter than I would need and stretching it in blocking. It is currently out there blocking because it did start at like 12:30 today, so it needs quite a bit of time to dry. It will have all night and then part of tomorrow to dry before I have to get in the car to go see her. So just wanted to give you that quick update. I will put the photo of her with it on. I will probably block out her face because I don't really know if she wants to be on this. I'm not going to ask her. I'm kind of not making this totally public with my family, so I will block out her face, but you will see her in the sweater right here, and then hopefully this video will be up within the next day or two. So I will let you get back to the rest of the video. Have a good night or afternoon. So my next whip is actually what I like to call a brainchild. So I have a couple of these, or one's getting ripped out, but I have two of these going on right now, two different brainchilds. And so this is going to be a top. So I kept seeing a lot of those mohair, drop shoulder, super open, breathy, but warm sweaters. And I decided I needed to make one. And I also decided that I didn't want to buy mohair. I didn't know where to buy mohair because this was before Italy and this was before I had worked with mohair, and I didn't want to kind of have to like pay what I thought was going to be a super expensive price for mohair. And so I was in Michael's and I saw this. So this is a Karen latte cake, and it is insanely fluffy. There's like hairs coming off here, and in my mind it's like mohair's fluffy, this is close enough. And I absolutely love yellow. I love yellows and oranges, and I did this. So this hasn't been worked on since before, probably since July. And it is my very first sweater pattern, and I cast on a lot. So it's going to be very oversized and very drop-shouldered. And I'm going to love it because I can already tell it's super warm and it's super soft and it's super open gauge, because this is, even though the packaging says it's a weight 5 yarn, so it's a bulky weight yarn, it's not. It's probably a worsted or an Aran, but because of the fluffy, I don't know. But I am using size 15 US needles or 10 millimeter needles. So size 15 US or 10 millimeter needles to get, again, a very open, very see-through gauge. Just because in my head that's what mohair sweaters looked like. But now I know differently. So that's my brainchild. Hopefully that will be a finished object soon so I can, again, wear it. But I also have plenty and plenty of whips. So my very last whip that I have for you guys today is my very first knit shawl. And it is over halfway done. And it is called I have it in this box right here because it's a lot of different yarns. But it is called the Roman Villa yarn, or Roman Villa shawl, sorry, by Ancient Arts Yarns. And it is, again, it's going to be very big. It's almost probably half my wingspan right now, or over. So it's very, very big. But I am in love because each section is a slightly different texture, and I did do one section wrong. It's kind of hard for you to see, sorry. I don't have very good lighting right now, but did one section wrong, but it actually came out like actually really like it, even though it's technically wrong. It just means I have to make it again. But this was a kit. Normally I would go out and buy the yarn and try and find something slightly bit cheaper because I am a college student and I don't have a lot of money to spend, but I just decided that I loved the colors it was one of their hand-dyed yarns, and it was going to be hard to find a suitable substitution for it. And I loved all their colors, and I realized that they had a kit. So I went on their website and I bought the kit, and the kit came with, again, the pattern download and then all of the yarn. And they were really, really good because it is actually a shop. It's a physical shop, and I had ordered this. I tried to stop myself from ordering stuff, but I ordered this right before we were to leave. And I know the way our post office works is if you get a package and it stays in your mailbox for like, not necessarily your mailbox, but we have this like big, like everyone's mailboxes and then like the little parcel lockers. So if it stays in one of the parcel lockers for more than like 2 or 3 days, they take it back and they tend to send it back to the shipper, to the return address. So I was very nervous, and when I saw that it wasn't shipping and I didn't think it was going to get there on time, I ended up emailing them, and I just like was wondering, hey, like, when are you going to ship this out, because I kind of need it before this date. And it was shipped out the next day. Nobody ever actually responded to me, but they definitely got my message and heard my concerns, and so highest praises for them. But this is one of their hand-dyed yarns. It is a blend of 2 different wools. I'm not totally sure. The names don't ring a bell with me. But the reason I picked this and I saw it in the beginning is because of these mosaic work strips, mosaic color work strips. So I was watching a video on mosaic crochet or knitting because I was really interested in it and I had never heard of it before. And pretty much, if you don't know what mosaic knitting is it is another type of color work. So instead of the autumn alpine sweater I showed you with the flowers, that one is stranded color work. So you're working on a row and you're working with both, in that case it's red yarn and white yarn at the same time in the same row, and you're switching which yarn you're knitting to in order to make the stitches different colors. But with mosaic color work, you are you're knitting with the same strand, same color yarn for either the entire row if you're working in the round, or 2 rows if you're working flat like I did. And in order to get the color work, you slip the stitches. So you can see that's a slipped stitch. Like those are all slipped stitches in order to make the color work. So I just found that like really interesting of a way to do it, and I just wanted to practice it. So I got the kit, and I didn't quite look at the rest of it because that's kind of what I was for. But each section is very interesting. This section is like cabled, but all of the cables, you're only ever switching 1 stitch at a time. So there's like a way to do it on the needle, so you don't need a cable needle at all, which is really nice. And then this, the main back piece, is it's flowers. I can't see if you can tell. There we go. It's flowers all along, and it's the same technique of all of these, like sort of all of the raised stitches. So it's still stockinette back here, but all of these like raised sections are just those switched stitches to make this work. And those are all of the colors. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors. And this is the beginning of the repeat for this section again. And then once I finished repeating this side over here, I will have to then pick up all the stitches along this long edge and knit 2 more like blocks of mosaic knitting mosaic colorwork knitting again there. So those are all of my whips. And I did say a bit of future plans. I am planning on making a fall knitting plans video, so I won't give you all of them, but I will give you 2 that I am super excited for. So while I was in Switzerland in that yarn shop, we went through a really big thing because we went to Italy in August. So all of the smaller shops, and I only ended up being able to go to 2, even though I tried going to like 4 different yarn shops. The other 2 were like closed because it was August and it was their vacation period. So after a lot of hard work and trying, we finally found one that was open. And so when I picked up the 2 skeins I needed for this project, my mom looked at me and she was like, "You have to get more than that." And I'm very much don't like buying yarn without a project in mind first. I do enjoy pretty yarn, and I'm buying more yarn, or I'm ordering more hand-dyed yarn than I know what to do with projects for, but generally I don't like buying yarn I don't have a project for. But I saw this yarn and I didn't really know what I wanted to do with it, and then it came to me. I had been seeing on Pinterest this the Tudor blouse by Katriana Gillanders, and I'm absolutely in love with it. So I bought this yarn. I'm not going to show you. You're going to have to watch the fall knitting plans, but it's not quite what I think of when I think of bronze, but it is like a metallic orange, which I guess people will call bronze, but we can have a discussion when you see it in the comments. So I just immediately thought of that. So I bought 3 skeins of that, and I'm mildly worried I'm going to have to order more. That is the color Sunset, and it's aptly named because it does look like a sunset. So that's one. And then I was watching a video the other day, and I had been seeing this cardigan all around, and I have yet to knit like a full cardigan. I've knit like a button down, bottom up, that's cabled vest that you can make into a cardigan, and like it has the choice to make sleeves or leave it as a vest, and I decided to leave it as a vest. So I have yet to knit a cardigan, and I have really been wanting a cardigan for the fall, and I wanted something cozy and like really oversized with a lot of positive ease to wrap up in. And I just kept seeing the Book Club cardigan by Sari Nordlund, and I've kept hearing a lot of the other knitters I watch, especially Amy from Knee Knits, who recently in her flock video said she took a cable class by Sari Nordlund, and she loves her patterns and raves about them a lot. And she also talked about this along with a couple other knitters I've been seeing, and I fell in love with it, and so that's another one of my plans. But I also still have 4 other patterns that I have plans for, 2 gift knits, and 2 other patterns for me. I am definitely with my gift knits, people know they're coming. I tried to keep the autumn alpine sweater a secret from my grandma, but I just couldn't. I have a lot of stress around making clothes for other people. I need them to try it on. I either need them to give me their measurements or they need to try it on. And she had given me her measurements, but I wasn't totally sure about the validity of them because they just seemed very long. So I did, when she was visiting up here for the 4th of July, she had her try it on. she was very, very excited, very expectant, so I knew I had to get this one done first. But then I also have the Arctic Light sweater for my eldest sister, and then I have another cardigan, which I will talk about in the fall knitting plans, for my middle sister. I am the youngest of 3, so the eldest sister is getting the Arctic Light sweater that's already started. The middle, I'm planning on knitting the, not telling you, you'll have to find out. I'm planning on knitting her another cardigan I've been quite excited for. And then my father I have the Viking Knits book by Lassie Matberg, and I'm planning on knitting him a sweater out of that. And my mom has already gotten a crocheted granny hexagon cardigan with motifs in the background, or along the back end. She loves that. So I'm trying to make the rest of the family something. But yes, I hope you enjoyed. I definitely enjoyed talking to you. This is a new thing for me. I will try and fix my lighting. I'll try and get a lamp for my desk right in front of me so I'm not half lit and you can see all of the knits better. I will definitely put pictures, or I will try and put pictures up of each of them in better lighting, or each of the finished objects. You can see the whips in better lighting when they're finished objects. So I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, I would love for you to subscribe. You don't have to. But again, this is my first video, so if there's also any constructive criticism to help me grow and help me improve in my filming, I would love that. Please be nice about it. If you are not nice, I will learn how to delete a comment. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.